Alright, we have been working on lines. So remember last Thursday we had our test over equations of lines. And then Friday we did the practicing solving equations. So today we are going to start word problems involving lines. So we're going to do a few each day until we have made it through all these different types. Today we are going to be looking at problems with a slope intercept. So we use this if we have m and b, y equals mx plus b. So make sure these notes, that's the next chunk of your, so put them in your binder, make sure they're in order. So we use this when given a rate of change that's the slope, the m, and a starting point. And that would be our y-intercept, b. So m is our rate of change, b is our y-intercept. So we are going to start looking at these. We have to be able to pick out the slope and the y-intercept. The slope, the rate of change, that's like something that's happening repeatedly. It keeps increasing by a certain amount or decreasing by a certain amount. A y-intercept is a one-time thing. We just started at this particular value. So if we look at this first one. Evan is going to the county fair this weekend. The admission to the fair is $5 and the cost per ride is 50 cents. So let's just stop there. That first sentence is what we need to write our equation. What is the slope? The thing that happens repeatedly. Okay, so we have two things, the admission fee and the 50 cents, right? So which one are you going to have to pay more than once? The 50 cents. Every time you ride a ride, you pay 50 cents. So that is my slope. Now, do I want to put 50?
No, you want to 50.
All right, your B, that is your y-intercept. Do you have to pay to get into the fair over and over and over again? No, we pay it one time. So my y-intercept is my 5. So our equation, y equals mx plus b, so y equals 0.50x plus b, which is 5. Can you tell me what x and y represent in this problem? What would x be?
How much money is how much?
Well, look at our equation. Y equals mx plus b. My slope was 50. I paid that for every ride, and it was multiplied with x. So what do you think x is? Well, just like in words. That's the number of rides. This whole equation is telling us our cost. How much does it cost him to go to the fair? Because he has to take 50 cents times every ride that he goes on, plus the one-time $5 to get in. So now, these questions are asking me a couple things. First, I had to write an equation, which we did. Now we're going to answer the second part. If his parents gave him $20, we need to find how many rides can he go on. So 20, is that my x or my y? Y. We can spend $20. Okay, we practiced solving equations on Friday. So first we subtract over our 5. equals 0.50x. Question. divide by 0.50. So 15 divided by 0.5,
30.
and what did 30 represent?
How many rides you
Yes.
took?
So my answer is 30 rides. On these word problems, I am expecting a label. So if you just tell me 30, I am going to take off. I need to know what is 30. 30 what? So you have to tell me. That means if he has $20, he is able to ride 30 rides. So several things here. We have to write our equation by finding our slope and y-intercept. Then we have to be able to solve the problem given. Are there questions on this one? Okay. Let's look at another one. While visiting Crimson Lake, Sally decided to go kayak. The rangers charge $8.50 per hour in addition to a $25 deposit to rent the kayak. Okay, that's what I need to write my equation. M is my rate of change. That's something that we have to pay repeatedly. What does she have to pay more than once? Yeah. You notice these units kind of tell you something. It tells you $8.50 per hour. A lot of times the slope will be something per something because it's a rate of change. What is the one-time thing she pays?
The $25.
Okay. So y equals mx plus b. Y equals 8.5 or 8.50 if you include the 0, either way, x plus b, which is 25. Can you tell me by looking at that equation what our x and y would have to represent? So if we look back at the problem, you pay the $8.50 for every hour, so x would have to be the number of hours. What is the y?
Why is how much it all costs?
Okay, so now that I have an equation, I know what my x and y represent, we can go back to the problem and get the next part. So it says, if she rented the kayak from 11:30 a.m. until 2:30 p.m., we want to find the total cost. All right, from 11:30 to 2:30, how many hours is that? 3, and hours is my x, so that's saying my x is 3, so we are going to plug that in. So y equals 8.50 times 3 plus 25. So sometimes I'm going to give you the x, sometimes I'm going to give you the y. We have to be able to figure out which is which is why I'm writing down what x and y stand for. So 8.5 times 3 is 25.5 plus 25, so we get $50.50, and that is my cost, so that is my dollar sign. So it'll cost a total of $50.50 for that. All right, I want you to try to read the third question. See if you can figure out what the equation would be. So I don't want you to solve everything yet. See right here. So if we start there, M and B. M is something that is happening repeatedly. Is he paying for the truck repeatedly?
No.
No. So what is my slope? That's, you notice it has that word per there. Anytime you see a per, that is talking about your slope. Now this one's a little bit tricky. It's depreciating. What does that mean?
Going
It's
down.
decreasing. So what should I put on this?
Negative.
A negative. So because it is losing value, it's decreasing. We know a decreasing line has a negative slope. B, the y-intercept. What's the one-time thing?
42,000.
Right, the cost of his truck. So y equals negative 4,200x plus 42,935. That is my equation. So my x in this case is what? Yeah, look at your units on your slope. It's something per year. So x is my number of years. And the y is telling me basically the money or the value of the truck. Is she not in there right now?
No.
They're gonna call you when she. So now we go to the second part. We want to know how many years until the truck is worth $5,135. So 5,135, is that my x or my y?
Yeah.
The y, because that's the value. So we plug that in. Okay, then we have to solve this equation. So what's the first step?
Subtract 44,000.
Get negative 37,800 by the negative 4,200. Just like from the equations we were solving Friday. And x is 9 what? What did x represent? The number of years. So it takes 9 years. So I am expecting labels on your final answer. So that one had the extra little piece where it was losing value, so our slope was negative, but otherwise the same kind of idea. Okay, you guys try to set up number 4. So we have to start with our slope and our y-intercept. Slope is the repeated thing. The y-intercept is the one-time thing. So if I look at my problem, if you buy a car wash at a gas station for $6, the cost per gallon is $2.35. So, which one are you buying more than one of?
Yeah.
So my slope is my 235. It's a positive. And then my y-intercept, my one-time thing, was my $6. So our equation is y equals m times x plus b. So can you look at this equation and tell me what your x and y represent? X is multiplied with m. That was how much we paid for every gallon. So x would have to be the number of gallons. And what's my y going to give me? So now it says if you have $40, find the number of gallons you can afford. So 40, that's a cost, that's my y. So 40 equals 2.35x plus $6. Subtract that over. Get 34 equals 2.35x. So then we divide. So 34 divided by 2.35 does not work out perfectly, so let's just keep a couple decimals, so 14.47. What would my label be on that? Gallons. So we can buy 14.47 gallons of gas. questions there? So here's what we need to do. Keep your notes handy so you can use it when you're working on homework. Today, I'm going to give you a handout, but you do not have to do the whole thing yet. We are just doing the front, which I think is 1 through 5. If you get done and you have not yet turned in that worksheet from Friday, you need to work on that. Anyone who does not have it done, that worksheet from Friday, by the end of the hour, I'm going to ask that you stay